The Sri Yantra is often viewed as the world's most powerful wealth symbol. This ancient symbol is sometimes referred to as the mother of sacred geometry or the holy wheel. The Sri Yantra is also called the Queen of Yantras because it is a symbol of the Divine Mother, source of all energy, power, and creativity. This amazing geometric design functions on multiple levels. First, the Sri Yantra reveals universal patterns of energy. On another level, the Sri Yantra creates abundance in many forms. In addition, the Sri Yantra is a visual map of a spiritual path towards enlightenment. The word Yantra means instrument or machine. The word Sri means abundance, wealth, or splendor. The meaning of Yantra is sometimes translated as a tool for the mind. Accordingly, Yantras are an important visual aid for meditation. Yantras can also be a tool for understanding the flow of energy in the human body. Finally, Yantras are a guide for understanding the energetics of the universe. Yantras have been in use for thousands of years. On a spiritual level, each Yantra is connected to one or more Hindu deities. In the case of the Sri Yantra, the deity most widely associated with this Yantra is Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. There are stones in India with drawings of Yantras that date back to 10 or 12,000 years. These beautiful forms may be even older, inherited from ancient civilizations. The Sri Yantra is the most well-known and widely recognized of the Hindu Yantras. The Sri Yantra comes from the Vidya school of Hinduism. This sacred form is composed of 9 interlaced triangles. There are 4 upward triangles which meet 5 downward triangles to form a star tetrahedron. Like other Yantras, the Sri Yantra is viewed as a dwelling for the sacred energy of specific deities. Both the goddesses Lalita and Lakshmi are closely associated with the Sri Yantra. In addition, Shiva is said to embody this powerful Yantra. What are the types of Yantras? Yantras are composed of a central form with shapes radiating outward. These shapes include triangles, circles, hexagrams, pentagrams, octagons, lotus petals, and tridents. Each shape has its own symbolic importance. Yantras are constructed using these building blocks in concentric layers. The meaning of a yantra varies based on the details of the shapes, as well as the overall structure of the image. There are 3 basic types of yantras. The first type is a circular form like a mandala. Most 2-dimensional yantras are circular. The second type of yantra is a square, featuring numbers and letters. The Hanuman yantra is an example of this type. The third type is a 3-dimensional yantra. This form creates a kind of pyramid, typically used in the design of Indian temples. Sculptures and carvings of yantras are also popular. These are made from many different materials, including metal, stone, and wood. The 3-dimensional forms may be converted to drawings for various uses. For example, small yantras can be placed on altars as a meditative focus. Many yantras have also been used to create beautiful jewelry. The Sri Yantra itself is a drawing of a 3-dimensional form. 3-dimensional yantras are called merus. Constructing an entire building as a yantra is thought to channel divine energy. The architecture itself becomes a conduit to higher dimensions. For example, the Sahasrakshi temple in Andhra Pradesh was built in the shape of a Sri Meru Yantra. In ancient India, having a temple properly positioned within a village was the most significant part of aligning the inhabitants' lives with the divine. The temple was built first. Residential dwellings and buildings for businesses and government facilities were constructed afterwards. In this way, the villages, towns, and cities were constructed around a central temple. Where do we find teachings about yantras? Most teachings concerning yantras are found in the Tantras, books written 1,000 to 2,000 years ago. The Tantras were originally part of an ancient oral tradition. The teachings themselves are probably several thousand years older. As a spiritual tool, yantras are a central part of the ancient practice of using visual aids for meditation. Viewing or visualizing the Sri Yantra is believed to stimulate the pineal gland, creating electrical currents in the body. This helps to raise the Kundalini energy. Raising the Kundalini energy is the goal of many spiritual practices. The Kundalini energy is coiled in the root chakra and moves to the crown when higher consciousness is realized. Many mystics and yogis have written and taught about the rising of the Kundalini. The process of Kundalini rising is the origin of the caduceus symbol in the medical industry. As the Kundalini moves upward, the energy flows through the 7 major energy centers or chakras. In some meditation practices, bringing this energy to the crown of the head is considered to be the physical counterpart to achieving enlightenment. There are many approaches to awakening and raising the Kundalini. For example, the whirling dervishes of the Sufi religion and Tibetan prayer wheels are based on the principle that rotational force results in energy rising upward. Interestingly, children often play a game of spinning around until they're too dizzy to stand. As adults, we're generally moving forwards or backwards rather than spinning. In terms of energy flow, the root chakra, as well as the other chakras, can be visualized as spinning wheels. What are the differences between yantras and mandalas? Yantras are similar to the more well-known Buddhist mandalas. The terms can be used interchangeably, particularly for the circular yantras. However, there are several key differences. For one thing, mandalas tend to be more complex, sometimes depicting divine beings, human activities, and the heaven world. In other words, mandalas can be figurative. On the other hand, yantras are more abstract. Yantras tend to be linear and highly geometric. Yantras in Hinduism are generally simpler than mandalas. Yantras are composed solely of geometric forms, Sanskrit characters, and organic forms such as lotus petals. Another difference between mandalas and yantras is the intention. Mandalas are often made from fragile or perishable materials and then destroyed after creation to emphasize the impermanence of the world. With mandalas, the creation process itself is a form of meditation. On the other hand, yantras are intended for long-term use. Once created, yantras are retained as ongoing channels and receptacles for divine energy. How do yantras relate to the science of sound? Yantras are directly associated with particular sounds or mantras. Yantras are believed to depict the pattern of these sounds in matter. This can be demonstrated with modern cymoscopes. A cymoscope is a scientific instrument that reveals the forms created by sound in sand, water, or other substances. This connects the unseen world of sound with the physical or visual dimension. Cymatics is a branch of research that explores the power of sound to change matter. Sound creates stunningly beautiful or discordant patterns in sand, water, and other materials. Thus, the science of cymatics relates directly to the art of yantras. The term cymatics was coined by Hans Jenny, who lived from 1904 to 1972. Jenny explored the nodal patterns formed by materials subjected to continuous sound. The patterns for specific sounds that he discovered are remarkably like the forms depicted in traditional yantras. When viewed from the perspective of cymatics, each yantra has a specific sound and potential spiritual power. In the case of the Sri Yantra, this form is believed to be the visual equivalent of the sound Om. This Sanskrit seed syllable represents the hum of the universe. The Sanskrit word Om is familiar to most people as the quintessential mantra. Om is purported to connect us to higher realities and the highest aspect of our own beings. Om is believed to be a sound of the whole cosmic manifestation. Om is the sound from which all other sounds are formed. Thus, Om represents past, present, and future. From this perspective, Om is a seed or building block of creation. In addition, Om is a word of assent, much like saying Amen at the end of a prayer. In this way, Om both focuses and affirms the intention of a mantra. Now let's look at practical applications and ways to use the Sri Yantra. Yantras are sometimes used in Vastu, which is the Hindu form of feng shui. For example, a powerful image or sculpture of the Sri Yantra may be used to correct negative configurations or influences in a home or office. Historically, yantras were so powerful that they were guarded by Hindu priests to prevent unauthorized access. Yantras can also be used for the mitigation of astrological influences. In addition, they can be used to stimulate the flow of energy in the body for healing. The Sri Yantra is mainly a wealth symbol and a meditation tool, but it also functions as a means of spiritual protection. Benefits of using this beautiful ancient mystical symbol include the following. Visualization. Focusing on the Sri Yantra helps to train the mind in the practice of visualization. Mastering the use of visualization supports health improvement, the accomplishment of goals, and the creation of a calm and centered attitude in life. Energy storage. Some practitioners believe that the yantra itself holds spiritual energy. By chanting or focusing attention on the Sri Yantra, it can be charged like a battery. The stored energy can be utilized for various purposes at a later point. Synergy. The Sri Yantra reinforces the positive effects of mantras. Since the yantra is a crystallized form of the mantra, the two strengthen each other synergistically. Consciousness. The beauty and symmetry of the Sri Yantra will help to uplift your consciousness simply through gazing on the yantra or having the yantra visible in your environment. Thank you for exploring this introduction to the Sri Yantra with me today. Please share with a friend and subscribe for future videos. Have a beautiful and blessed day.